The Price of Truth. A story about integrity, courage, and what it costs to stand alone. In the heart of a region where trade routes converged, there stood a marketplace unlike any other. It wasn't the largest, nor the flashiest, but it was known for something precious: trust. Merchants there built their reputations over decades. A baker's bread was consistently well risen. A potter's clay never cracked in the kiln. A silk merchant's cloth endured generations. Families travelled far to buy from these stalls because they knew a purchase was a promise kept. Among these merchants stood Cale. For 20 years, he had sold the finest silk in the region. His reputation was woven into every thread. This marketplace was built on that trust. Everything that came next depended on it. One morning, a powerful cloth trader named Mina arrived with her stall. She had come from the capital city, where markets were larger and more ruthless. Her claim was bold. She would undercut every merchant's price. Cale watched as Mina's prices dropped week after week. Customers flocked to her stall. But he noticed something troubling. The silk was tearing easily. Stitches came loose. Colors faded in days, not years. When customers complained, Mina dismissed them with lies. "Your care was careless," she'd say. "The sun damaged it." She sold damaged goods as quality, and no one stopped her. Cale's customers dwindled. Families left him for cheaper cloth, only to return months later with ruined purchases. "Why don't you lower your prices like Mina?" they asked. Cale felt the weight of it. Lower his standards? Lie about his work? Never. But the cost of honesty was steep. His stall grew quiet. His children asked when business would return. One evening, Cale sat with his closest friends Ravi, the potter, and Seema, the baker. "Something must change," Cale said quietly. "Mina came here 3 months ago. In that time, she's ruined the reputation of this entire marketplace. Yesterday, a family came to me. They'd bought cloth from her and it fell apart. They were ashamed to complain because she blamed them publicly. Now they won't buy quality cloth from anyone, not even me, because they think all merchants are the same." Ravi leaned forward. "I've heard Mina came from a city across the mountains. She did the same thing there, ran local merchants out of business. Then she left with their reputation in tatters." "You're thinking of speaking up," Seema said carefully. It wasn't a question. Cale nodded slowly. Seema took his hand. "Listen to me, my friend. If you speak against her, she will turn the community against you. People like saving money. They'll blame the messenger, not the deception. Worse," Ravi added, "other merchants will resent you. They're already struggling. Some will copy Mina's methods just to survive. Speaking up might accelerate that. Your name could become associated with trying to stop progress, even though Mina's methods are corrupt." The three sat in silence. "My children need to eat," Cale said quietly. "But they also need to see that their father didn't stay silent when it mattered." Seema and Ravi exchanged a look. They understood. The cost of speaking up would be real. The cost of silence would be greater. The next day, Cale gathered the marketplace community. He didn't attack Mina with anger. Instead, he brought examples: the torn fabric, the faded colors, the disappointed faces of people cheated. He spoke simply, without malice. "I'm not asking you to buy from me," he said. I'm asking you to look, to touch, to ask questions. Cheap doesn't mean better. It means corners were cut. And when corners are cut in cloth, they're cut in trust. His voice was steady, quiet, but it carried the weight of 20 years of integrity. For 3 days, nothing changed. Cale watched from his stall as customers still flocked to Mina's. Some people who heard his words avoided both stalls entirely. Others whispered that Cale was trying to protect his business through slander. Mina responded by lowering her prices even further, dangerously low. Cale felt the weight of it crushing down. Had he made things worse? He'd risked his reputation, his livelihood, his children's future, and the marketplace had shrugged. That evening, Seema found him sitting alone at his stall. "You did what was right," she said simply. "The outcome isn't always immediate, but truth doesn't disappear just because people ignore it. It waits, and people remember." A week after Cale's doubt, something shifted. A family returned to the marketplace. The mother held up a piece of Mina's cloth. It was shredded. She didn't blame Cale, but she tested Cale's cloth with her own hands. She felt the difference. Then she did something quiet but powerful. She told her neighbors what she'd learned. Others began to notice. A merchant's wife complained to a baker's wife. The baker told the potter. The potter mentioned it to customers passing through. Within 2 weeks, a second family came to Cale's stall, then a third. Change didn't announce itself. It spread quietly, like word of mouth always does. Within a month, Mina's stall was nearly empty. Her customers had dwindled not because Cale had convinced them, but because their own experience had shown them the truth. Mina packed her goods one morning and left without a word. But the real change was deeper than her departure. Ravi the potter began asking customers more carefully what they needed. Seema the baker returned to her original recipes, the ones that took longer but tasted better. Other merchants raised their standards, not out of fear, but out of renewed pride in their work. The marketplace had remembered what it was, a place where reputation mattered, where integrity meant something, and it began to thrive. Years later, Cale's children asked him if speaking up had been worth the quiet months, the lost sales, the risk of losing community favor. Cale looked at the cloth in his hands. "Standing against what's wrong is never comfortable," he said. "But silence costs more than you can see at first. It costs trust. It costs the future." He paused. The brave choice isn't the loud one. It's the honest one. And it only works if you refuse to benefit from the dishonesty around you. Standing against wrongdoing begins not with anger, but with clarity. And clarity spreads only when we refuse to compromise our own integrity, even when the cost is high. Thank you for watching. These tales are here to help you reflect on what matters: integrity, courage, and the choices we make. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for more moral tales. Each one is crafted to challenge and inspire.